And welcome on back to Budstalkingbudz. I got Mikey, I got Sean, I got Jared. It's your boy HT, and we got some new equipment here. I'm a little excited. Sean, the boss man, he dropped a bag on this. He got nice new arms for the mics, new mixing board. I just want to say thank you and give all claps to Sean right here.
Yeah, 100%.
You're stepping up our game, Sean.
Yeah, we better get some more viewers and listeners, but you know, it's all about
Working on it.
How's everybody's weekend?
It was super dope. I basically traveled around like all of central valley of California, hit the 166 out to California City. My lady's sister has a home out there. She's in the Navy or the Air Force, I'm sorry, and they have a base out there. So we went out there for a couple of days and fuck that. Instead of turning around, coming back through the desert, I was like, let's head to Santa Monica, go to the pier. You know, I'm a dad of two boys, so we got to make it fun somehow. So we did that and hit the scenic route, Highway 1, all the way back. Spits you out through Port Waimea. And it's a beautiful drive. Like, if you guys haven't done that, you're missing out on where we live, because you see parts of the coast where you can't see from driving on the 101, which everyone does when they're traveling to LA. So
normally when Mikey comes back and he has a story of him traveling all over, he's been trapping pre-rolls all over, making drops here, drops there. So it's nice to hear you had a little family time.
Yeah, I had a little family time. But one thing that stuck out to me, man, if you haven't drove the 166 recently, once you get out to New Kiama, it gets real deserty and stuff. Well, it's like the old Wild West out there, because people are setting up their own fortresses and makeshift homes and
right.
Just moving there and establishing their own little property lines, and it's really wild out there. It's pretty crazy.
I hope it's Native Americans, because that would be really cool if they're just yep, nope, this is my land back. Some Chumash people, there's nope, this is my land, we back on it.
Seems like that.
It's that time.
The only reason why that sounds horrible, because I wouldn't want to be in my car for an extra 8 hours like you just did. So you're a saint. I would have freaked out.
Luckily,
with the kids, right? That's what you're getting at.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah. I would wait until they're 16, because I cannot handle them.
So they can drive?
Yes.
Oh, that's going to be really
Isn't
nice.
that going to be awesome?
Oh, I'm going to get drunk and high and just let my kids drive me around?
No, my best friend, he has older kids. So I have a 7 and 4, and he has 13 and 10. So I went up to the 13-year-old. I'm like, hey, Seth. In 3 years, if we say Vegas at 2 a.m, it's Vegas, bro.
Vegas.
And his dad was like, yep. So I cannot wait for that time where we can just be chauffeured.
Yeah, traveling with kids is really difficult. And they hit this age, and I just hey, you take over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're a saint for doing that. That's
luckily we crashed out for the night in California City. We hit a pumpkin patch in Lancaster. I've never been to these places. It's insane, but there's incorporated cities out here in the middle of nowhere of the Mojave Desert, and it's beyond me. I'm a beach boy, so born and raised here on the Central Coast. Never really been out of the country, just trying to explore with my kids. So yeah,
That sounds fun.
You do anything, Jared?
Honestly, I played pool and went disc golfing. I had a very relaxing, nice weekend. Got some stuff done at home. It was, super chill.
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to make it about me, but I want to disc golf.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to get into
Explain disc golfing to me really quickly, because I see these chains, hoops, hanging around big fields and parks and stuff. I'm like, what the heck is this?
So it's straight up. You walk out and it's just like a golf course. You have a tee, which is just a cement pad. You stand on it and you have different types of discs that do different types of things.
Are they heavier than regular frisbees, or?
Yeah. It depends on what you're shooting. They have putters. They have things that lean left and right, or just straight drivers.
The driver discs are a lot thinner, so they fly a lot farther, a lot faster. And then
set some of those things up around here. That would be pretty cool.
It's pretty. Yeah. It's honestly really fun. For the most part, it's free. There's a couple places that you pay, like Sea Pines and Los Osos. You pay to play, but it's $5 or something.
It's way less pretentious than regular golf too.
You see the guys out there. They're having fun. Honestly, I went out there. I was supposed to play with my brother-in-law. So funny. He didn't show up. And I'm looking out into the field, and
You're a bitch, brother-in-law. You scared?
my old boss, like, well, okay, so the silhouette of what I thought looked like my old boss. I'm like looking out. I'm like, no way, the first guy I see out here is my old boss. And then I look over in the parking lot, and there's my other old boss, his co-owner. And I'm like, oh, that's definitely him. So I ended up running out, playing some holes with them, and then we came back later with Jasper and his girl and my girl, and ran into Larry again. The owner of Ancient Al, by the way.
You need to have cut off jean shorts with joints in your pocket to play disc golf. Those are like two
and a fanny pack
requisites.
Dude, there's some guys out there that are so good.
Oh, they're like ringers.
It's insane.
It's insane.
I just stopped and watched. I was like, come on, man.
And some of them are making money. I mean, the big time ones.
They could be making like $30,000 a year.
Yeah. There's some like competition. They're making like golf money.
Oh, they're not making golf money.
They're getting purses, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, old retired ladies' purses.
I'm getting better. I don't know. I've never seen one of the tournaments.
He's dissing the froth game, bro.
I watched like the videos on Instagram. They used to play him at AO though when I worked there. That was like there was like always.
Oh, they're playing disc golf videos at the bar?
Always.
Oh,
bro. It was disc golf and Bob Ross like all day.
Chill.
All day.
They have crowds, Sean.
Okay.
Like
I'll
they
look it
have
up.
like actual people following these guys.
Well, maybe that'll be my next career choice.
I mean, you'll
really
just get
fun.
obsessed with it for 3 weeks, dominate it, and then leave.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, my weekend was good. I'll just jump into it. It was my birthday. It was my birthday.
What did you
33.
do?
It was great. My wife took me out to dinner. Eureka. Some friends.
What'd you get?
Old fashions, 4 of them. It was delicious.
No. Like, what food did you?
I had some food with it. I had a cowboy burger.
Okay, that's what's up. Super good.
By the way, Eureka has the best old fashions. If you go at happy hour, they're only 8 instead of 11. So,
all right.
I just made it work.
Got to get him in at happy hour.
She was like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "I need 2, but my wife says I need a water first." And she's like, "Okay." So, but it was good. And then did nothing. Watched football all day. My wife didn't make me move. She made me food, plate in my right here, mimosa
Winning.
when I needed it.
Winning.
Oh
yeah.
My Sunday was great because the Raiders didn't lose on Sunday, so on my birthday was great.
Chiefs, right?
Yesterday, shut up. Yes.
Basically how I feel about my team too. Since
I missed it. I didn't see the game.
Season's over.
We don't need to talk.
Hey, you knew who was playing. You knew they were playing. I'm impressed with that.
I don't know. My mom's a huge fan, so I try to pay attention.
We lost in horrific fashion.
I'm very sorry.
But it was good.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was fun. Fun weekend and everything. I'm glad that you guys had a good time. I think we're just jump right into it. Mr. Sean has some current events on our good old President Joe Biden.
Sleepy Joe.
What is the Prez up to right now?
The Prez is up to some good shit. Well, I mean, on the surface, it looks really good. I don't know how much it moves the needle right now, but he basically came out and I don't really know what midterm elections are, but it's around the corner from midterm, so you got to get some positive press out there. But basically, Joe came out and he said they're going to expunge everybody's. So if you got accused or got convicted of a federal minor possession charge of cannabis, so it's about 6,500 people from I think it was 92 through like last year. He's going to pardon you, which is a little different than expungement, which is kind of the next level, which would help people even more, and maybe he'll get there eventually. Also, none of these 6,500 people are actually currently incarcerated, which I thought was kind of an interesting.
I didn't
thing.
read that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm getting thank you, Joe. Like, really appreciate it.
No, it's a start.
It's a start. Like, really appreciate it. But as far as that goes, it's not like, oh my goodness, all these people are going to be getting out of prison. No, like maybe now they can get an apartment easier or something like that, which is important. Which is important. It's just
Or a job.
yeah. But when you listen to CNN or whatever, any of these news agencies, they're like, and they would say thousands and thousands of people are going to be pardoned, and yes, again, really great, but none of them are actually currently incarcerated. But it does help their record, kind of going forward. He also, this is actually probably more important, is he advised that all states' governors to basically do the same thing. California's already done it, but to basically say, hey, let's expunge all just minor possession. Still can't grow. grow, you still can't manufacture, you still can't distribute either from a federal level or the states that are illegal. But he at least advised the governors to kind of work in that direction. So.
Yeah, weird that Gavin Newsom had that information just like 2 months before.
Yeah, 2 months ago, Newsom comes out and he's like, hey, we want to put this law on the books for interstate transit so you can, interstate commerce so you could trade cannabis across state lines. Like, we know we're not going to be able to do it, but maybe once the feds relinquish control a little bit, we'll be able to do it. And then 2 months later, Biden's like, hey, we're thinking about this. And then the third tier of what Biden was talking about is he directed the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Attorney General to review the classification of marijuana. So currently it's a class 1 with heroin, which
insane.
Yeah, there's no way.
Which it's actually a class above methamphetamine and fentanyl.
Yeah, the pandemic killer in the drug game right now.
Literally, yeah. So he basically advised them to kind of reconsider the classification, which this is kind of more the bigger move, and the thing that can maybe lead to actual legalization, decriminalization, something like that. This is going to kind of be the first step. But
it's definitely like a snowball effect. I really see stuff picking up, and it's really cool to see.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, basically, in order to fully decriminalize or legalize, like Congress is going to have to do that, but at least this gives them, he lets them know where he stands on the topic. But I thought this was interesting. So I had heard this in like 2021 and I looked it up to verify it, but there was a lot of like White House staff that got released in 2021.
I read that too.
Due to admitting they had smoked weed, not even testing positive. They basically they'd come out, Biden and the crew, not him specifically probably, but his crew had come out and said like, hey, be honest about everything that you've done, and we're not going to bust anybody for smoking weed. So a lot of like younger millennial people are like, yeah, we've tried weed before.
Let go. Wow.
Yeah, got fired as White House staff. So one of them tweeted recently, like, "Does this mean I get to come back?"
Yeah, insane.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
I mean, I think it's crazy just because Biden and Kamala they were such drug like stoppers, and they were so big and like hurting a lot of people's lives for their things that they put forward. Definitely in the 80s with Biden and the Reagan
Harris
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, through that whole establishment. So like So it's weird that they did that a year ago and now he's doing this, but better late than never. It helps everything, but like it's a crazy thing to wrap your head around.
Yeah, there's a few cannabis stocks out there. I don't know much about it, but some of them are based out of Canada, and then there's some like ancillary stocks such as hydroponics companies or maybe weed tech type companies. Apparently, once he announced this, the stocks just boom shot up. But then kind of the talking heads got to talking about it and kind of organizing on them. People realized, maybe it's not that big of move, and they kind of leveled out. But at least for that one day, it was like stock city.
I mean, that's just only showing how. Hello, Daniel. You can wave. That's our cameraman, Daniel. Thank you.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I forgot what my thought was.
Well, yeah, that's about all I got on it. I mean, hopefully it goes in the right direction. One area where I think it could happen. I personally don't think it's going to lead to the full legalization within his term. Was got like 2 years left or something like that. Like it's going to have to, if the Dems get back in on the next round, like maybe it'll happen then. But there's the Safe Banking Act that's currently kind of being kicked around, and I'm hoping that this gives that some fuel. I want to do a whole episode one of these times on banking and all the crazy banking stories that we've had to kind of deal with over the years and how much it restricts us. But that's one thing I hope and it kind of sets precedent for.
Was it
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wasn't Colorado like already in the forefront for doing that? Because they're like, we're trying to push for a while. I read somewhere that like they were already in front of that because they've been kind of in the industry longer. There'd been lobbies for already starting the.
Oh, I'm sure. And there's some like state-run credit unions or even privately owned credit unions. And I know Colorado specifically had a lot of state-run banks that were like, absolutely, we'll lend you money, we'll let you put your money in our bank, that type of stuff. But it's the 99% of banks that are backed by the FDIC, federal,
right.
The F stands for. And so that's kind of where it gets it all. So, a state can do all they want. And they can, even California, we can try to get that ball rolling, but it has to be on a federal level because that's where all these banks are. And credit card companies, Visa, MasterCard, all those people are scared of the feds.
Right.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that all these investors are afraid to put their money in, to the industry just for the, things that can happen right now. There's just so many unwritten rules, and they're trying to figure so many stuff out still. It's crazy.
To be honest, I actually kind of it's kind of a benefit to us, because we're not like a company that has huge investors and a bunch of capital behind us, but I know that's coming eventually. The feds legalize, and next thing you know, it's like, holy shit, Amazon, Walmart, these people with unlimited budgets get in, and then we're pushed out. So while it's kind of the Wild West and you got to do weird banking things, and that keeps them out and lets us thrive and lets us get our feet established. So as much as I'm frustrated of being kicked out of every bank humanly possible and having money stolen and all this type of things, it's like at least I'm not competing against Amazon.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
Because when they get in the game someday, that's the new different story.
Yeah, it's going to be hopefully. How much can we integrate? What's
will the source be the domino of deliveries?
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Yeah,
send deliveries on drones.
Yeah,
through Amazon.
That's scary. No, I'd rather. I think I want a homie. Give me that bag, and I'll give money. I don't know if I want that.
HT, your dad would be out in the back with a shotgun shooting drones down. Any drone breaks his airspace.
Yes.
This is a no-fly zone.
Yeah, he's got his red hat on, semi-auto shotgun.
Anyways, so definitely.
Let's not go off on a tangent about.
Okay, so the reason why we have Mikey on here, we want to do a little spotlight. He's a big part of our company. He's our ops manager. 27 years old. Twevin.
You got
12 years in the industry.
12 games. 12 years in the industry. 12. He's 27. That's a lot in his young man's life. Like he said, 2 kids, got a girl on his side. This is Mikey Hernandez.
What up, y'all?
How we doing?
Yeah,
We're doing good. Thanks for having me on.
So the last interview, I just launched in with a question. HT berated me afterwards, which is probably appropriate. But I'm just going to launch in with it again.
For sure.
Can you kind of break down like one of the first times you ever sold weed? Like, were you packing in a backpack? Were you running around school? Like, what's kind of the first time you hand over handed it?
Right, absolutely. So I kind of had to grow up early, man. I had my own apartment senior year in high school. And I was working at Jamba Juice and selling weed to pay rent. And, I had to save up money for a car and start being a grown-up, bro. And basically what I would do is I would do some prepackaged up 8s or 1 grams, and I would take it in a mason jar and have it in my backpack. And on my break, I would be out in the parking lot, slinging weed to everybody, or taking weed to school to sling for one of the neighborhood friends or whatever. And so that's basically how it all started.
Yeah, everybody knew where to get it at. Exactly. Where were you getting it from, like in the beginning?
Oh man, like older cousins. Weed was so available in my neighborhood that I grew up in, so I was always exposed to it. I grew up stealing my sister's weed and smoking that shit, so I always wanted it. It was always around, you know what I mean? And I was always the little guy hanging with all the older people, because I don't have any siblings my age. I always only had older cousins or my older brother to look up to and try and run around with. So
nice. What's like one of the first times where you were not just backpack kid in it, where you like had a company and were kind of
absolutely. So I graduated high school in 2014. By 2015 I moved out to Hollywood, California, and went into this dispensary and loved just everything about it. It was like a dab lounge. Like you were able to, buy some weed and then go into their lounge and take a free dab, buy a hot chick. And, they had like bongs you could rent with, just everything. And you could just chill and smoke their weed, and you know what I mean?
Wow.
It was really, really cool. Well, I found the owner and I'm like, hey, do you guys have a delivery service? Like, and he's like, never really thought about that, because I guess they were just barely launching. And I was like, well, here's my resume. If you ever want to start one, let me know. I'll be your first driver. Like, I'm ready to go. And he's like, okay, cool. About 2 weeks later, he gives me a call and he's like, hey man, you ready? And so long story short, I became his first driver. We expanded really, really quickly. We got about 6 drivers in the span of like 6 months. So we were really, really going. And so I became like basically his ops manager. Yeah, and so
How big was that area? So when you started, just you?
So yeah,
To 6.
So right, we were delivering everywhere from K-Town, Echo Park, West Hollywood, downtown.
You were covering ground.
We were covering
Damn.
ground. We were covering ground.
and
It
that's with traffic.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
all that.
big time with traffic. Wait times kind of started to get away from us, so we had to think outside the box, and we hired up some guys with motorcycles, and that was the trick. That's how we kept it in under an hour.
How were they carrying it on the motorcycles?
Backpacks.
Backpacks?
Yeah. So essentially, I would map out their whole route. They would have to come back for each route. A route could be anywhere from 2 to 6 deliveries at any given time. And man, I'm not gonna lie, it ran them down pretty quickly. Being on a bike and doing deliveries is I've never done it, but the way that these guys were putting in work,
They're like
I can
lane
tell.
splitting, doing
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Right, and we were going through them like quite
Oh yeah,
frequently.
big turnover on there. Yeah.
Big turnover on there. So it was funny, dude. Some guys would show up. We put on an ad like drivers needed with motorcycles. So some street bikes would show up. Some Harley dude would show up. Like oh my god,
Who were better, the street guys or the Harleys?
definitely not the dude with the Harley Davidson. But his bike was like breaking down sometimes. A freaking puddle of freaking oil in the in the parking lot. So, oh man, it was crazy. It was a fun ride though.
Yeah, you almost need one of those like 50cc mopeds or
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and then our delivery got so big, and we ended up kind of splitting away from the main brand and opened up our own dispensaries and stuff like that. It was really cool because back, Prop 21 days, right? 215, Prop 215 days. Anybody can go on Weed Maps and get, pay Weed Maps a certain amount of money for a location to, be on their website. And so that's essentially with no license or anything. So that's essentially what we did. We took advantage of that. Once weed got legalized, a lot changed. That's for sure.
Yeah, people started coming knocking, looking for people.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, okay, for some people that don't know what lane splitting is or even is legal, I mean, all you guys are from California, so it's like a second nature
Oh, is
to you.
is that not a thing?
No, most other states you can't lane split.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's like normal for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So lane splitting is like, you just imagine 2 cars driving. You can drive in the middle of the lanes and split traffic. It's just all on you. Like if somebody opens their door and if somebody swerves this side and clips you, like it's on the motorcycle that's splitting the lanes.
Yeah.
But you can do it. So sometimes you'll be sitting there and it'll be like traffic and somebody will blow by you on a crotch rocket at like 80 miles an hour when you're at a standstill.
So your Nebraska fans don't even
No, you
know.
can't do that.
So why?
I didn't know until I moved to
Never.
Arizona that it was a thing. You can do it in Arizona. You can also wear no helmet in
Yeah, I was
Arizona.
gonna just say that.
So there'll be people just no helmets, nothing. Yep.
Totally.
With a gun, because also open carry.
Yep.
So there'll be like guns just tucked into the back of their pants, and then they'll just be flying down on crotch rockets.
crap.
But
Did you have any accidents with the bikes?
We definitely had our tumbles. Luckily, nothing ever
Like, do you have
fatal.
anything,
or
anything good?
Yeah,
that's a perfect name.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Anything good?
nothing that comes to mind, but I definitely remember a guy or two going down. You know what I mean? And having to take the day off because shit, going down on a bike or just even
Yeah.
just slipping out or
Yeah,
you
man.
know, those bikes are heavy.
Yeah. What about anybody ever getting robbed? Like drivers getting robbed?
Absolutely.
Oh.
So we delivered to the USC area,
Which is not good.
which is not good. at
If
all.
you're not on campus, you're not in a good part of town.
Exactly, and especially a lot of people in LA, you got to understand, are from other places. Like they're just moving to Los Angeles to kind of get going or whatever. So you're not you're getting familiar with the streets. So, and unless you were depending on how you were raised, you got to know how to look at your surroundings when you're out there. And there was a driver who, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and dude orders like a couple ounces of our like $100 ounce special, and yeah, he before he knew it, there was a gun pressed up on his chest. Another guy like ran up on him. They took everything. They even took his phone. They took his wallet. They took the weed, and then they took off. And it looked like he's seen a ghost when he got back. It was really scary. was
Dang,
really
so he just
scary.
drove back to the shop. Obviously, had no phone
Well,
to
yeah,
call
no
anybody.
No phone, no nothing. He just drove back empty-handed, and we like the look on this guy's face. It was like, okay, this guy's not bullshitting us.
Yeah, like this actually happened.
This
yeah.
actually happened, and then we couldn't. It actually, funny story is when I was a driver delivering down there, a guy actually ripped a bag out of my lap, and that was the last time I rolled my window down all the way or let anybody approach me at all.
Yeah,
After
while
that,
in the
I would
car, yeah.
literally get out of the car, lock it behind me. So that was a lesson learned. But no, the guy was like asking if he can see the flower before he purchased it, and before I was even able to answer, his arm was like reached into my driver's side window, and I just placed my hands down on the bag, and he just ripped like a jar around and got away with one jar. The other ones just kind of fell on the floor.
He just took off running.
He just took off running.
Yeah.
I hopped out, but then I'm like, I am not
What am
chasing
I
this
gonna
guy.
do? Yeah.
I fucking hopped right back in my car and took off.
1/8. Yeah.
Second I got back, I'm like, hey, bro, like, don't just come look at the car before I even explain to you what happened, because there was just nugs everywhere across the, because it was just, it just exploded in my hands.
Man, if you need it that bad, I guess.
I know exactly. I'm like, take it, but
Yeah,
we definitely stopped delivering in certain areas, and you'd be surprised. USC campus, there's
No,
there's
it's
staff walking around.
it's
like
the hood right around the corner.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and I think you made a good point though. With people not being from there too, like they have no sense of community or no sense of anything like that. It's just like
Right.
grab and dash,
Yeah.
Well, a lot of, I mean, just it's USC. There's, I don't know, a lot of white rich kids that have never been in a bubble in their whole life. I'm not saying everybody there is, but that's
People
That-
from
it's
all over the
different.
world,
They
all
don't
walks
know.
of
Like
life.
it just social awareness. Just probably me. I live down south. There, like coming from here, definitely going down there. It's a
Culture shock.
bro.
Yeah.
So it totally get with that. That would be gnarly.
We had a driver tell me the similar experience. I actually think it was fake, and now then getting to know him, like, I can guarantee it was fake. But he told me this story where it was like, I don't know, it was like a $300 order. It was real close to Cal Poly campus, which is great. There's no bad neighborhoods in SLO. And he says that he went to go make the delivery. A guy pulls a gun on him. Is like, give it to me. Da 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 da. So then he hands him the bag, like I told him to do. I'm like, absolutely, just give it up. Like, it was just product. Then he proceeds to tell me the guy turns around and like to walk away, that he chases him down. And to like, so this guy's got a gun.
Right.
And it's not a big order. It's like, $150, $200, like nothing crazy. And so because he comes back with the product, and he comes back, he starts telling me, I'm like, what happened? Why did it take so long? And he's trying to come up with excuses. He's like, oh yeah, well, this guy pulled a gun on me. And I'm like, well, how do you have the product? He goes, oh, I chased him down. And as I got close to him, I was about ready to jump on his back, and he just threw the products in the air.
Oh sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then turns out like 2 or 3 days later, he was on shift, calling. This is back in Prop 215 days, but you didn't want to get pulled over.
Oh, okay.
So he's calling his girl saying, I'm gonna commit suicide and all sorts of like, I need help type things. So then she then calls the authorities. The authorities pull him over, but he gets on kind of I'm not gonna call it a high speed chase, but he like kept driving multiple blocks until he was right in front of our trap spot, and then pulls over. And so then I look out the window, and it's like 9, 10 at night or something like that, and he's pulled over outside in front of the trap spot.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Never lead them back to the trap
Never
spot.
lead them back to the spot.
Take them to the other dispensary.
Go down like a,
Yes.
Take
Yes.
it to NHC or some shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working for these guys,
Right.
So working like what you're saying with going from the hood and like USC and covering a lot of ground, like you said, to coming back to the Central Coast. You joined us with the Source as a driver. I mean, you went up the ranks, and now you're a manager. Give us a couple different differences from LA County to San Luis Obispo County.
Sure. So I mean, traffic is a big thing, and probably the biggest thing. It's no parking, high rises. So some customers expect for the drivers to get up to their unit, and it's damn near impossible. Like, you think you can put your hazards on and be all good, but by the time you get down, it's probably hooked up on the tow truck, or you got a ticket.
Have you had that?
I've definitely had like
Tickets for tow?
6 tickets a month. Like, it's ridiculous. And that's just living there. So but so like, no, trying to make these customers happy and deliver it to their door was definitely a really big
Traffic, man.
and just affected wait times like immensely. So that's the biggest thing for sure.
Yeah, we guarantee hour or less delivery, and I know you'd said that you guys were trying to guarantee, and one of the reasons you went with motorcycle, but like with the unpredictability of traffic down there, it's like you show up at a customer's house and you're like, I'm sorry, there was like a triple backup on the 405. Like,
even here, like we have, like there was like I don't know, last week there was like 3 accidents up and down 101, and it stopped traffic from Avila all the way to Santa Maria. And I'm sitting there like calling customers. Well, I'm so sorry, it's going to be another 10 to 15 minutes because we're just stuck waiting for traffic.
Yeah, is that the time where the guy, he swerved off, hit like a Caltrans vehicle, then his tire flew off the truck, and then the tire struck a person?
That's terrible luck.
So that happened, and then not even a week later, a pedestrian got hit walking across the highway right in front of the Teff Bridge. And then they
were on the freeway.
They were walking. They were walking across the highway. And then got hit. Yeah. So then there was another guy who was doing high speed on a motorcycle and crashed.
Stay off of the highway.
All right here too. And
we will do our traffic segment.
Yeah.
We'll do our traffic
sit here. I'm like watch like traffic just die 4 to 5 hours. I'm just like, what is it?
Follow Mikey. Take the back highways where people are homesteading back there, probably making moonshine.
Oh my god!
Pull over. You might get something awesome, but don't get shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any? Do you have any good stories? You got something for us?
Yeah.
Got a banger?
I got a banger. I got a really good story. I don't know, man. I don't know how I got so lucky, but basically, we were, big chilling. Nice vibe in the office. We're lighting up blunts. It's close to the end of the night. You had a great night.
But not here in San Luis Obispo. We were not in our county, not at Source.
Let's take you back to Hollywood days.
Thank you.
We're sitting at the trap spot.
We love the federal government, and we're good.
Right.
False.
But yeah, so we're having a good time, and it was a pretty relaxed day. Well, we had some neighbors move in. We were only delivery out of our office, but some guy moved in and opened up a storefront, dispensary, and I don't think they were licensed because sooner or later, we got a little hot around there, and a driver was out about to return to the office, and he gives us a phone call, and he's like, hey man, are you guys getting raided? Like, super scared. And we're like, no, we're all fine here. And we look out the window, the entire corner is just blocked off with not a SWAT team, but a team of
police
cops.
Unit.
And they have all of their bud tenders, the owner all up against the wall, in handcuffs. They're bringing out all their weed, and and this is literally right next door to us. And mind you, we're super hot boxed, and we're playing music, and there's cops walking outside of our window, and we're trying to do anything and everything, turn off the lights, put on incense,
normal.
Get scared as shit. We tell our driver don't come back, we have to fucking wait. And I don't know, man. That was just
By the way, go
crazy.
to Taco Bell, get about 45 tacos for us.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, and that was just one close call that I actually was there to watch. For some reason, I got super lucky every time any of our shops got hit or anything like that. And that's essentially what got me out of the businesses. I was tired of doing something I loved in the industry and not be able to feel comfortable going to work.
Right.
I'm about my shit. I'm not gonna rat on, bring down the whole company or something. But I would rather not put myself in that position. So coming back and working for Sean and the Source is like a breath of fresh air, if you will. I came back, I picked up doing exactly what I was doing, and
you just didn't have to look over your shoulder anymore.
Exactly.
We've come so far,
and so it's amazing and makes me even more happy to come to work every single day.
Yeah, Mikey told me these stories in the interview, and I could really relate to him because I went through all of that in kind of the same time frame, and then it felt really good to be like, no man, we actually got that license. In the beginning they were not giving them out very easily. It was really difficult, but it's like, no man, we got one. You don't have to look over your shoulder anymore. And so I really appreciate people that have experienced that grind on the other side and then come to this side, because I guess they can appreciate what it takes to not have to look over your shoulder as much. Still got to look over your shoulder. Maybe Biden will change that.
Yeah,
Getting
right?
closer.
I wanted to. I think we're closing on 35 minutes. Do you want to keep going a couple more minutes? I have one more question for you, and
Sure.
I want to start doing this to our guests. So you're the first one I'm going to ask, and I want you to
Perfect.
take it any way you want. All right?
Go. Shoot it.
No, we're good. It's nothing. I'm not Elijah.
Like, yeah. Can you give me your measurements?
Yeah, right.
Do you like top or bottom? I'm sorry. No.
wait for him to
All
hear
right.
this.
So the question is presented by the source.
Right.
Why are you attracted to the plant that we deliver? What's so great about it?
To me, I had a brother-in-law that recently passed. My older sister's husband.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. We're working through it every single day with my sister, and he had a deep connection with the plant. Actually, he was like a master grower. He took my sister to, like, Jamaica and like every reggae cruise and festival there was, and like really kind of brought that culture into our family. And like we love reggae music in my family. Like all my cousins, my brothers, we all listen to that music. And so plant and the plant has just always been a part of me for sure. I've always been infatuated with, since day one. I wanted to grow it, smoke it, sell it, get as close to it as possible. So.
Smell it, yeah.
Yeah, everything.
That's the answer I wanted
That's
to
a
hear.
hell
That
of
was,
an
that was
answer.
great.
Yeah,
We got a guy who sleeps in a room full of plants.
Literally sleeps in a
100%.
room full of plants.
Who does?
Craig.
And it's epic. He showed me pictures. He's like, yeah, I'm changing out soil, and literally his bed is covered with plants that are like 6 feet tall. And he's like, yeah, I had to move them from over there, so the only place I can put them was on my bed.
Yeah.
Like
And
amazing.
it's epic. Yeah,
Amazing.
dude,
Like,
just that connection to the
probably
plant.
so refreshing in there. Like I
It smells good.
just wake up the air. Just think like probably.
I know there's got to be something.
It's gotta be.
Got to
great.
be helpful.
Yeah,
it's a plant.
100%. 100%.
Good oxygen, right? CO2.
Right.
Like, I mean, they put out oxygen.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to say the wrong thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's got to be good.
Gotta be good for it.
It's great. I'm sure.
Well, Mikey Hernandez, thank you for everything you do at our business. But that was awesome storytelling.
Dope.
It was awesome. Just gonna close it out. We are on everything social. Podcast on Tuesday. Do we got the YouTube by Friday, baby? Yes, he said yes. We're on Apple, we're on Google, Spotify, and YouTube. IG and Twitter is Budstalkingbudz with the Z on the second Buzz. Budstalkingbudz on Facebook. The Source, thesourceslow.com. IG is thesource.cc. And on YouTube, The Source Slow. And everybody,
Stay high.